The truth is, we know what we're supposed to be doing. Most of us know what we're supposed to be doing. We know healthy choices at mealtime versus unhealthy choices at mealtime. It would probably shock none of you to know that one of the secrets to weight loss is to burn more calories than you consume. No. Are you sure? Yeah. But it's so hard to do these things. Why? Why when we know what to do? Why can't we do it? We know what it takes to grow our business. Why can't we do it? And there are 12 emotional and psychological hurdles, roadblocks, that prevent us from doing the things that we know we're supposed to do. We're going to talk about 2 of them. The first one is that there is a gap, a time gap, between the price we pay and the reward we receive. Sometimes we pay the price first and we get the reward later. Sometimes we get the reward now and we pay the price later. And the bigger the gap is between that price and the reward, the more difficult it is for us to do what we know we're supposed to do. When we're talking about money, it's called the time value of money. And it's a calculation that we call interest. Interest earned, interest paid. And financiers and money managers know how to calculate this, because money is a very simple thing to quantify. But pleasure is not as easy to quantify. Joy is not as easy to quantify. Satisfaction is not as easy to quantify. And so it makes it more difficult for us. It's harder to program it in on a financial calculator when we're talking about how much joy we get from eating cheesecake compared to broccoli. It's hard to put a number to that. We know it's there, it's just hard to put a number there. The second psychological, emotional roadblock that we're going to talk about is the risk involved. There is a risk that we can pay the price and not get the reward that we were expecting. And again, when we're talking about dollars, financiers have very complex algorithms and formulas that they can use to calculate risk when they're looking at valuing a company. So I'm not talking now about a logical disconnect. I'm talking about an emotional and psychological disconnect. And any salesperson will tell you, emotion trumps logic every single time. You sell on emotion because that's what really motivates behavior. So if you don't know what to do, we're talking about something different. So there can be logical disconnects. I was at Luby's the other day and standing behind a couple, and there was a logical disconnect that I got to experience. An older couple, and as they approached the checkout where they get their drinks, the man looked at a sign and he said, "Good Lord, Ethel, they're charging $3.50 for iced tea." She looked at the sign, she said, "Ed, that's for a gallon of iced tea." He looked at the sign, he scratched his head, he said, "Good Lord, Ethel, I could never drink a gallon of iced tea." That's a logical disconnect. That's a logical disconnect. We're talking about an emotional disconnect. We're talking about a psychological disconnect. And so the secret to achieving and delivering consistently what we know we should be doing is in bridging this gap between what we know we should be doing and these reasons, this time gap and this risk gap, quantifying that and bridging that gap. And when we can do that, that's when we can reprogram ourselves so that all of our emotions And all of our fears and all of our anxieties are working towards creating success instead of undermining our success. So let's talk about how to do that.